The days are getting longer and the nights are getting colder, and we've grown an absolute ton of food, but not everything's gone as planned. So we're going to show you a realistic look at growing a year's worth of food. Today we're going to be harvesting tomatoes, resetting beds for winter, harvesting and canning apples, and harvesting and preserving popcorn. The reality of growing this year is the tomatoes are going to slow down massively. The temperature has really shifted and it's now autumn, so the plants will stop producing as much as they have in the summer. They're still going to be ripening and we're absolutely dripping with tons of green tomatoes. The production is going to slow down, but that's not going to stop us. We're going to pick any blushing tomato. Tomatoes actually ripen from the inside out, so you can actually pick them whilst they're blushing on the plant and ripen them at home, and they taste just like a tomato that's ripened on the plant. In fact, they're actually called vine ripened tomatoes because the tomato is ripening without any artificial gases. We can see that the plants are stressed and they are getting a little bit diseased, which is completely normal for this time of year. I can't do this alone. As you can see, that Andrew is doing an absolute amazing job crawling about and picking the tomatoes all by himself. He absolutely loves getting involved. And to be honest, we love seeing him in the garden too. Little basket.
Move from the city, chasing the dream. Fields of green and a clear running stream. Planting the seeds, watching them grow. Simple life where the soft winds blow. Sunset skies on the homestead tonight. Hands in the garden.
We went off to Jasmine's plot and sadly her tomatoes have blight. To be honest, she's done an amazing job. I think that the trellising of these particular tomatoes kind of got away from her. This is the first time that she's had her own little area. We have learned a lot from this, and maybe next year we'll be going about it a little bit differently. But I feel like every year is a learning curve. What we've learned this year will really feed into what we do next year. I feel like all of the best gardeners will learn from their mistakes year after year after year and hopefully not make them again. And we know they have blight because of the brown discoloration on the fruit, leaves and stems of her tomato plants. We're going to be completely removing these plants and refreshing the beds for our winter garden. Because these are tomato seeds, I am going to want to remove all of these tomatoes from this area. The reality of growing at this time of year is that blight is just going to happen. It's just a matter of when. This is the longest season that I've ever grown without having blight, so it's been amazing.
Hands in the garden, it all feels right. Living slow where the wild hearts roam. Out in the country I finally found home. Sunset skies on the homestead tonight. Hands in the garden, it all feels right. Living slow where the wild hearts roam. Out in the country I finally found home.
We're trying to save as many seeds as possible because our biggest outgoing is seeds. And if we cut that out, we'll have so much more money to do other things like buying perennials that are difficult to sow from seed. We're actually going to be saving dahlia seeds. Dahlias are incredibly expensive root-wise, so we're just going to save them. And it's so easy to do that. Every single dahlia that you see on my allotment, I've actually grown from seed. And this is how I do it. We don't grow absolutely everything that we eat, and we really do draw on the relationships we have with other people in our community to get things like apples. This is one of my friend's beautiful apple trees. Friend said that we can pick as many apples as we wanted from her tree, which is amazing as we don't have an apple tree on our plot. And Jasmine climbed up the tree like a little monkey and she picked all of the apples for us, and we brought them home to make cinnamon apple pie. The smell of cooking apples with cinnamon really drives home that it's now autumn. I honestly can't imagine ever going into winter without a big store of apples, so we will be needing to get some apple trees for our plot, as we lost all of our apples last year to a mole that dug up all their roots. That's just one of them things of gardening. You really do learn from your own mistakes. Whilst that's in the canner, I'm going to go out and sort out my popcorn. Popcorn is one of them things I've never harvested really before, and I'm so excited about this harvest. We planted shop-bought corn just from Tesco's that we were meant to pop, and it's done amazingly well. We want to harvest the corn when the ears are completely, utterly brown and the kernels inside feel really hard. You just harvest them by pulling them straight down in a really firm action and they'll come straight off. Don't want to leave these on the corn for very long because we've had a terrible issue with mice in that garden bed, and we've lost all of our sweet corn to mice this year. And the reason that is because the sweet corn just didn't grow to its full potential, and I think that's because I used old seed. I'm one of them people who really does believe that you can use seeds until like they stop germinating, and I think that sweet corn just has a shelf life, and I realise that now, and it just didn't grow as well as I thought. I grew it in a Three Sisters garden, and the Three Sisters overwhelmed my tiny little kind of pathetic sweet corn, so that's a lesson learned also. But I don't want the same thing to happen to my popcorn, so I will be pulling as much as that as possible and drying it indoors, and I'll show you that whole process now.
Moved from the city, chasing the dream, fields of green and a clear running stream, planting the seeds, watching them grow. Simple life where the soft winds blow. Sunset skies on the homestead tonight. Hands in the garden, it all feels right. Living slow where the wild hearts roam. Out in the country I finally found home. Ooh.
that's nicely drying, I'm going to sort out my potatoes. This is something that, to be honest, I should have done a little while ago, but it is just finding the time to do these jobs, isn't it? The reality is that we don't really have the best setup for potatoes, and as you can see, they're already starting to sprout. We're just gonna break those off and they're absolutely fine to eat. It's not really dark enough or cold enough yet for them to be stored really well, so they are sprouting. But this is what we have. Sometimes in life, you do the best you can, and that's the only thing you can do. I always think, what's the point of throwing away the good for the better when you don't have the better? So this is what we're going to be using right now. Ultimately, we'd have a cold room or something like that, but that's just something that we just don't have right now. Our potatoes are our first early potatoes and our second early potatoes. They've been in the garage for quite a while now. We've got our main crop potatoes that we've cured, and I've done a whole video about that, and I'll drop the video down in the description if you're interested. And what I'm going to do now is remove these from the crate and take off all of their sprouts, and I'm going to put all of our main crop potatoes at the bottom because they're going to store for a lot longer, and have the second and early potatoes on top so they're used first.
Sunset skies on the homestead tonight. Hands in the garden, it all feels right. Living slow.